Esti fringant!
Est-ce qu'on peut être québécois et parler anglais? Est-ce qu'on peut être canadien et être québécois? On dirait qu'on a juste vu l'un ou l'autre, mais on est capable de démontrer qu'on peut être l'un et l'autre.
Hmm.
Puis je pense que c'est important de prendre une chance sur quelque chose qui est différent. C'est pas parce qu'on l'a jamais fait ou qu'on n'a pas l'habitude de le faire que c'est pas important d'essayer. We're back!
Well, how you feeling, man?
I'm good. You?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm like, I always like, I don't know, like you were saying, I always get like a little nervous, I guess, before filming, or 'cause it's like it's I'm too self-aware sometimes. I don't like being like that sometimes, you know?
Yeah. What started off as a fun little accident is now like, I don't know, it's a real conversation.
Well, I don't know. I feel like the last time, our first episode from our first season 1, I felt way more naive, to be honest. I think when I hit you up, like, hey, let's do a podcast, you're like, okay, well, let's do it. And we had no idea, what we were going to talk about. And it kind of just free flowed. And now I have notes. You have drawn notes now. It's like, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, it's getting better, I think, trying to wrap the idea more of like what this podcast is about. Like, what do you from season 1 to now, has it like gotten clear to you, or?
Well, I like this idea that season 1 was about questioning ourselves, where we're from, what it means to be Québécois. Do you feel like you fit in? And I think it led to more questions and reaching out to people and getting all these people's comments and perspectives. It's been like a cool way to kind of nurture those questions in me. And I think what I'm looking forward to in this season is focusing a bit more on where would we like to go with this information? Because it's like, it's one thing to have all these things swirling in our heads, but what's the goal? What would we like to do with this information?
Like the next steps, like what you were saying before, is like, okay, what's the next evolution of Quebec, or like what's the next question, or what's the next?
Well, there's always questions. That's what I like about this,
Mm.
is even about identity, even asking your own self these questions. It can change from day to day, or maybe not from day to day, but how I felt when I was in high school is not the same way I feel now.
Mm.
Do you think that fatherhood or parenthood made these questions deeper for us?
Well, I think it goes back to having French in the house. For me, I was always kind of, I never felt Quebecois, and then the fact that there's French in my house now, and I speak more French with my kid, yeah, I feel more, identify more as a Keb,
Mhm. I always question like what I hand down to my kids. Like, I realized that perhaps when I was younger, there was a bit more of a clash between those identities, and now I think I'm better equipped to show my kids that they can be this and that they don't need to choose between the different facets of identities.
Yeah, but they're gonna be so ingrained in both, right? Like, Charlie speaks, from last year that we spoke and to now, like her English has gotten a lot better, and her French has gotten a lot better.
Mm.
So, and I think a lot of kids right now, especially young kids, they're gonna have those two identities, and it's gonna be fused more together rather than just being, I'm an Anglophone or I'm a Francophone.
Well, I was always, by nature, being of two different cultures. That fusion is part of my identity à la base.
Mm.
Like, I've always been on the line of Anglo and Franco. I've always been on the line of, am I Canadian or am I American? Am I going to favor my mom's side or am I going to favor my dad's side? I always thought, especially with an Italian last name, when I was a kid, I was like, I need to be Italian. And it's really cool because
Like, you felt like, okay, I have to act like an Italian?
Yeah, dude, totally. And then, bro, you start speaking like this, bro, and you're hanging out with people like this. And
Wait, from Laval or?
well, Laval. I grew up in Laval, but
Yeah.
you know, RDP, all these bros, you know, play triple A.
How many bros can you get in a sentence?
Yeah, bro, like all kinds, bro. Like I can get you so many bros in one sentence, bro. But the thing is, like, it's funny too because so I just got back from Boston because we celebrated my grandfather's 100th birthday.
100.
100 years old.
Jesus.
Dude, you see
Those
like old.
Bostonians.
Sorry?
Something in the water.
Something in the water. Yeah. And my grandmother turned 97. They're March 2nd and March 3rd, which is very convenient. And they still live alone in their own house, in the house that my grandfather built with his father in, I think it was
So
like,
poetic.
yeah, 1955 or early 50s, they built that house. And basically being in that house with my grandparents and my cousins and all that, the melting pot of cultures, it's super Italian American, but I'm the Canadian one. I'm the Francophone one over there. Like,
They point it out a lot?
not necessarily, because my other cousins, they're from Missouri, so they're Midwesterners. But the focal point, or the anchor point rather, is being Italian American, which is not the same thing as being Italian Canadian. Not the same immigration pattern. In Canada, Italians came more or later on. Like my great grandfather came here from Italy in 1903 when he was more early 1900s when he was 13 years old. So my family history starts there on the Italian side, not in Quebec. My father emigrated here, so I'm the first one here. And being on that line, even on the Italian side, the Canadian or the American and all the accents, dude, it's crazy to hear my grandparents speak. It's crazy. It's like listening to Family Guy. My father, my mother, the yard, the car.
But then how, like, where does that even accent come from?
It's
Boston?
New England. It's
Yeah.
it's basically Old English, like run a bath.
Boff.
Run a bath. That's what my grandmother says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I digress, but all this to say, like,
yeah.
there's so many different cultures within me that all of these questions about Quebec identity, the parallel that I draw is the fact that we're in a transition. I'm like, my culture is in transition, and I think so is Quebec's culture.
But why do you feel that it's such a question right now? Like, we're always talking about identity, of Quebec identity, and is it because they're afraid that we're losing it? Like,
I think they feel like they're afraid that they're losing it. That's why there's all these arguments about.
both though, both.
I don't know about both.
No,
I
I'm
don't
saying
know.
in the Anglo side and the Franco side. From from the comments that I've read, it feels like they're both fearing of losing one's identity, right? Like,
Should I be speaking to you in French right now?
oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, you could. I mean,
Ok, je vais essayer de continuer cette discussion en français avec toi.
ouais.
Par contre, parfois, je trouve ça bizarre d'avoir à te parler en français
Parce qu'on a une relation en anglais.
parce qu'on a une relation en anglais. Mais est-ce que cette relation en anglais est perçue quand on est dans la rue comme étant le déclin du français? Est-ce que c'est plus facile pour des gens de nous pointer puis de dire Esti, de parler en français, on est au Québec ici, but it's like, yeah, like I speak French, you're trying to better your French as well as you do with your kids, with your wife, even.
Mais honnêtement, beaucoup de personnes me demandent pourquoi tu parles pas français sur le podcast. And it's like, for me, I'm like, well, I want to reach Anglophones. And the same thing while we speak French on the podcast, right? Like, it's Esti franglais. Like, we want to reach both. And there's not much media. Like, one of the things that I find is interesting is that in French media or whatever, it's like almost like we can't speak any English, or there can't be any English on this, and vice versa. Even sometimes in English, where it's like, no, we don't want to have any French. And like that for me it's I don't know. There needs to be more media that integrates both, and you're actually trying to create a new recipe of what our culture is, and let's accept what it is. Like, we're in Quebec, we're in the middle, we're an island of Anglos. We can't move Quebec. Like, there's gonna be English around. And if you want to preserve the culture, if you want to save the culture, I think you need to bring Anglophones on the side of trying to protect it. And that's what I think for me, the podcast is, or season 1 where I wasn't sure, where season 2, I'm like, yeah, I want to show Anglophones that we want to protect the French culture, but we don't want to be blamed for French decline.
Totally. I don't want to be blamed for French decline
Yeah.
or the decline of French, nor do I think I'm part of the decline of French.
Fine.
Mais prenons un exemple. Quelqu'un qui dit qu'il n'arrive pas à se faire servir dans un restaurant en français. Tu vas à Montréal, tu vas dans un restaurant, puis tu dis hey, « j'arrive même pas à me faire servir en français. Ça n'a pas d'allure. » Après ça, de prendre cet exemple-là et de regarder, ou de prendre cet exemple-là et de faire comme si le français est en déclin dans la province, je trouve que c'est it's just not true. I feel like it's something that's specific to Montreal. Montreal is a big city. Montreal has a lot of people that are either here on work visas, students, just there's a lot more immigration here. So it's normal that there's people that are in transition that aren't perfect in French yet. And I think that it depicts the city as being a problem for the rest of the province. Like, I don't think if you went to outside of Montreal, would you really have trouble à te faire servir en français? Je pense pas.
Mais, OK, ça c'est un point intéressant. Est-ce que tu penses que Montréal, c'est comme le futur de l'identité de Québec, ou est-ce que tu penses que c'est comme like the downfall?
Non, moi, je
Québec.
pense que c'est définitivement plutôt le futur du Québec. Je trouve qu'être bilingue au Québec, à Montréal, c'est une force. Être bilingue au Canada, être bilingue, le plus de langues tu maîtrises, le mieux c'est. Le mieux tu peux connecter. Puis je pense que tout le monde a envie de connecter, de se sentir connecté. Puis je pense que ça ne veut pas dire que l'identité québécoise se dilue. That's the thing. I don't think it dilutes it. I think it's a mix. And I think ultimately, that's what I mean by transition, especially with immigration. Au Québec, les gens font pas assez d'enfants. On a besoin d'immigration. Qui dit immigration dit alors dilution de c'est quoi le de, like.
But so I'll play devil's advocate. So a lot of people are saying that the too much immigration, it's like the system can't support it, right? Like our housing, everything. So it's making the quality of life go down a little bit. So in terms of culturally, yeah, maybe like immigration, but in terms of like the system being able to hold it, I don't know if,
Ben, avec toutes ces histoires avec l'OQLF, par exemple, je sais pas si c'est juste moi ou parce qu'on fait le podcast et donc on est, tu sais, on voit plus de contenu sur les réseaux sociaux par rapport à ça, mais quand je vois passer, par exemple, quelque chose par rapport à l'OQLF qui va augmenter de je sais pas combien de milliers de visites surprises dans des commerces pour s'assurer qu'on parle bien le français dans le commerce, j'ai l'impression que c'est a gross mismanagement of funds. Like, je trouve que ça a pas sa place. Je trouve que c'est pas une bonne façon de promouvoir et de protéger la langue française. Je pense que ça a a averse reaction, I would say. Don't tell me how to be.
but we're in the first phase of the protection, right? So it's,
Are we?
but that's the way
It's
that.
been 400 years.
No, I know, but in terms of like laws and all that stuff, like how many years has it been since we've
Quoi,
had
la loi
French laws?
101?
Yeah.
I guess it must be 40 years,
Okay.
roughly.
So it's not too long. It's not that long in terms of like laws, in terms of French language. So
Ben, je pense pas que la loi 101, c'est
but
ça le
it's
début de la
it's a very simple solution to a complex issue, right? It's very easy to be like, you don't do this, or you're going to get fined. Like, the only way that I could change your behavior is by fining you money so you change the behavior.
That's a mistake, I believe.
I know that is same.
Why are they doubling down then? Why do yeah,
I don't know. Well, I mean, maybe with the new government that's going to come in, I don't know, but that's the way that feel they're. It's for me, it's a immediate reaction, but like long term, it's not going to help. It's not going to help save or increase French speakers in Quebec. I could be wrong in in a couple years, but basic psychology is that if I'm a parent, I'm a parent. But if I want my kid to do something, or if I want my kid to play something or, love something, I can't say, love this thing, or, you're going to go to your room.
I think that analogy, although when you explain it that way, I get it. I don't see the government as my parent.
I kind of do. Like it basically runs the laws, the rules, it's the same in a household,
It is an authority, it's an authority figure,
right?
and it's telling you what to do.
Pay taxes, and it's telling you how to manage your life, or how to. I do see it as that, and
I see it as we're all equal. We're all brothers and sisters. Like we're all siblings, and it's important to show, even though we may have the same parents. Like, take my brother and my sister and I. The three of us had the same parents and went to the same schools for the most part.
Est-ce que ton frère parle français comme toi et comme...
Oui, mais tu sais, je trouve ça intéressant. Les trois, on est allés à l'école. En fait, je suis le seul qui a fini toute ma scolarisation en français. Mon frère est définitivement plus anglophone dans sa tournure de phrase, dans son schème de pensée. Et puis, il est allé à l'école en français jusqu'en secondaire 3, puis il y a eu de la misère en français, rendu là. Et quand il a changé au système anglophone, ses notes ont augmenté, ont skyrocket. Il est passé d'un élève qui avait de la misère à passer à un élève qui avait 80% de moyenne générale et plus en une année. Qu'est-ce qui explique ça? Et est-ce que ça veut dire que lui représente le déclin du français? Je pense pas. Il est capable, il travaille en français, il parle le français super bien, ça n'a pas rapport.
Comme toi?
Ouais, comme moi. Je veux dire, mon frère, il a plus des tournures de phrases anglophones, mais pas du tout. Mon frère est autant bilingue que moi je ne le suis, autant que ma sœur ne l'est. Mais on se parle majoritairement maintenant en anglais, mon frère et moi. Ma sœur, on alterne un mélange des deux.
Et elle est plus français que lui?
Je sais pas, je pourrais pas dire.
Et vous trois?
Nous trois, on se parle un mélange des trois. Par contre, quand j'étais jeune à la maison, ma mère nous obligeait à nous parler entre nous en français dans la maison.
OK.
Une fois que ma mère est décédée, on s'est mis à parler en anglais tout le temps.
Ah ouais. Mais c'est pas
Non,
comme...
I'm kidding. Not tout le temps, mais peut-être un petit peu plus. J'en suis conscient quand même. Puis je fais quand même l'effort de parler à mon frère et à ma sœur plus en français qu'en anglais. Mais en même temps, part of our identity is also an American one. So why do I have to feel a certain way because I'm speaking to my brother or my sister in English?
Mais est-ce que tu es comme conscient quand tu parles français et quand tu parles anglais? Est-ce que tu connais? Tu connais maintenant, mais comme dans ta vie normale...
Ça dépend.
quand
Je
tu...
pense qu'il y a une partie de moi je travaille en français la majorité de ma journée, à part quand je travaille avec des gens à l'extérieur de la province. Mais je me sens aussi confortable en français qu'en anglais. But I had a good time when I was in the United States speaking only English. Like, I don't have a problem with that. I think that, like I said in one of the previous episodes, like, I don't have pride in being able to speak French. It's part of my identity. So it's not like I don't feel like that part is fading away.
Going back to, government stuff, but do you think the government should dictate culture?
No.
Why?
I do not think the government should dictate culture. I think I understand the concept of having to put guardrails in order to put forward the language and the culture so that it doesn't. I understand, like, the concept that Quebec can get englouti par l'anglais. Si on fait pas attention, je suis d'accord. Mais en mettant des lois aussi intenses et rigides, non, je pense pas que le gouvernement devrait faire ça. Mais en même temps, je comprends que c'est délicat.
Mm.
There's nuance. It's gray. It's not black and white. But at the same time, I just don't like being told what to do in such an overt fashion.
Yeah, I think I agree. I agree. Well, I think there needs to be laws, right? There could be like laws like, hey, some signage, there has to be French on it. You can't, because it'll just run amok, and then businesses will just cater to Anglos and tourists and everything. So I do agree, and I do appreciate the laws. But on the end of like enforcing them, and like for example, like someone had messaged us. They said they had just launched a website and they didn't translate it yet, and OQLF sent them an email right away, without even like the website was up for probably a week, and they didn't. They were like, "Wow, this is so efficient," right? And so in my head, I'm like, "Man, like the OQLF is so efficient, and they're like,
And snuffing out who's not
who's
speaking
not-
French.
what website's not French?" Like what?
That's what it feels like, no?
Yeah, it's like the guys like when they're clicking, like,
Or does it mean that people stumble across it, see that there's only English, and then they file a complaint? Like, that's some big brother shit right
Yeah.
there. I don't like that.
is someone, hey, excuse me, sir, like a Karen, like, excuse me, sir, there's a
Yeah.
website that's not totally trans.
I've never heard that accent.
No,
No, that was a pretty good one.
yeah, like
I mean,
so.
Listen.
Yeah.
so for example, another thing, like this bakery recently in the news,
Yeah.
they got fined because their Instagram or their TikTok, basically their social media post was in English, and the OQLF was like, désolé, vous devriez poster en français, publier en français. Est-ce que ça c'est une ligne? Je veux dire, is that a red line? Are they crossing the
But it's
line?
advertising, right? No, like
Well-
it's like social media content is kind of the same as a website.
So tu penses que le gouvernement ou l'OQLF devrait légiférer comment on publie sur les réseaux sociaux?
What's the difference from a website to social media? I'm just asking the question. Like if they could give you a fine for your website, why can't they give you a fine for your social media?
So are we just gonna keep pushing till, well, then why not?
No,
Why not?
but
Like, is the goal, like, how much do I have to cater to your idea of identity to be okay in your eyes?
my question is, they're getting bad PR on the Anglophone side, and I'm curious what Francophones think of it.
Like, do you think that Francophones are like, oh, ouais, Esti, good
Mais il y a
job.
une personne que je pense qu'il dit comme yes. de son-
Ah, il y a beaucoup de personnes.
Ouais.
Non, je sais qu'il y en a plusieurs.
Ouais.
Mais puis, en
Mais
même
pour
temps,
les Anglais, mais pour les anglophones, est-ce que c'est plus comme un détachement de Québec? Est-ce que c'est un like a way for Anglophones to justify why they don't like Quebec? Like,
I
that's
will-
not the way.
I will say, though, that I notice a lot of Francophones posting on social media entirely in English
To cater to
to cater to who I don't know.
but a bigger
why are-
audience.
Yeah, perhaps. Is that a problem?
At Mate, that was one of our things at Mate, where like, do we post in English or do we post in French? And like from an entrepreneur, like someone who like owns the business, like, oh, I want to scale up, I want to get bigger because Quebec is a small market. So
Mais pourquoi c'est l'un ou l'autre? Pourquoi est-ce qu'on pourrait pas faire les deux?
ouais.
Moi, je trouve ce qui est cool avec le podcast, c'est d'essayer de publier et en français et en anglais.
Ouais.
D'écrire nos textes, d'écrire nos captions
En français en première.
et en anglais. Français en premier, anglais en second.
Mais les personnes pensent comme ça. C'est
Ouais, mais tu sais, si on on se base tout le temps sur ce que les personnes pensent, ben, on est dans marde. Je
Ouais.
pense qu'il faut foncer avec ce qu'on pense qui est la bonne chose à faire. Je pense que
Parce qu'ils pensent comme si on met anglais en première, ils pensent comme, hey, they're not with the mission.
Mais on s'en fout ce qu'ils pensent, non?
Non, mais c'est pas ça. For me, as an Anglophone, just speaking English, a lot of my life, it felt like it felt like I was, no matter what message that I'm saying, I'm speaking English. In their head, this person is not Québécois, and this person is not for the protection of French, right? And I feel like with this podcast, I would love to rally more Anglophones that love Quebec, that don't want to see Quebec turn into like another province like Ontario or Saskatchewan, or because I don't want it to turn like that. And there's a lot of
But it never
Anglophones.
will.
I know, but that's what they're afraid of,
Well,
right? And that's what they think that.
So basing everything on fear makes you make decisions that are ultimately detrimental to your long-term development, I think.
Yeah.
I understand. It's one thing to be aware of the existentialness of it all, c'est-à-dire les francophones ne veulent pas disparaître. Je comprends.
Mm.
Je comprends. But I think that's a normal feeling. But living in fear of that all the time, I think, is detrimental to,
But the fear-based, right? The fear-based message, it moves through communications easier.
I think, and that's where
Right.
identity politics becomes
Yeah.
a problem, because it's based in fear and saying, hey, if you're not careful, your culture is going to disappear.
But the three, we're up for elections soon, right? The parties that are, or the Liberal Party, I haven't really heard from them. I'm recently just started hearing from them, and they're talking more on like a economic platform, like they're, but the other ones, it seems like a referendum is coming.
Is it
Coming down the pipeline.
It's definitely being teased,
Yeah.
and I'm not so pleased about it.
Yeah.
I think that I don't know.
In
I don't like it.
episode 1 from season 1, I was like, yeah, let's try it. On peut essayer de séparer de Canada. And then
Comment tu te sens maintenant? Est-ce que tu es encore aussi stoked par rapport à un référendum possible?
now with everything happening in Quebec, in America and Canada, I just don't think it's time. I don't think it's time to test that. Like,
You said something that was interesting, puis je vais le dire en français, parce que je pense que c'est une réalité anglophone que peut-être beaucoup de francophones ne réalisent pas. Mais en tant qu'anglophone, d'avoir tout le temps cette épée par-dessus notre tête d'un référendum possible, je trouve que ça fait... c'est pas que ça fait peur, mais je trouve que c'est lourd. C'est une épée de... Je sais pas si c'est une épée de Damoclès. I don't know if you've ever heard that.
no.
It's like it's an imminent danger, and if it does happen, then I don't feel like I have my place here. And with the podcast, I'm realizing I'm trying more and more to fight for my place here. I feel more...
Isn't that the reason? I feel like that's kind of the reason why we started a little bit.
the podcast?
Yeah, like for me, it's the same reason why Francos are kind of like fighting to keep the French, to keep their identity, and for me, I guess this podcast is a way to just outward express that, like, yo, I love Quebec. There's a lot of Anglos that like Quebec. You want to keep French. I want to keep French. Let's kind of get together and like figure out a way that's, brings Quebec forward, rather than, just blaming each other,
And seeing everything as a threat.
yeah.
Moi, j'en ai un peu marre de voir l'anglais comme étant une menace constante. Je ne le vois pas comme ça, l'anglais.
It's like so, for example, Zoran. When he was campaigning, I know it's in the States, I know it's in New York, but it was so refreshing. I was like, wow, politics where he feels like, look, I'm just here to service New Yorkers. That's all. I just want to make life better.
And that includes a lot of different
Yeah.
people. And to see him
Jewish people, Muslim people, like it's
in all the different languages too, in
Yeah.
Spanish and Arabic and Farsi.
his
like-
mom is a like documentary filmmaker. So, he has that perspective, that lens that I find it super interesting because he's like, hey, this is our culture. This is New York. I'm going to highlight, I have this platform now. I'm going to highlight all the things that make New York amazing, right? And I get, shivers because I'm like, that's what should be doing in Quebec, or that's what we should be doing in Montreal, or that should be,
And that includes the Quebec identity, like the
Yeah, yeah.
Quebec de souche identity. It includes
Yeah.
the Italian community that came whatever
Jewish
year,
community,
the
the,
Jewish
you know,
community. It
the
includes
Irish, yeah.
For sure, all of it. And when I went to the Maritimes, I got to see, like in Nova Scotia, I got to hear the Scottish accent in their English.
Yeah.
I find it fascinating. I find it fascinating that
Drop that green bowl if you please. Oh, you want some gas? Yeah.
But to hear their Scottish ancestry, to hear the Irish ancestry, to hear the French ancestry here, all the different accents, like I'm just now being, or I'm just now able to decipher between a Lac Saint Jean accent, from a Beauce accent, from a Gatineau,
Gaspésie or Gaspésie,
all of it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
for me, it was always that's just Québécois, but it's not. The same way that my family speaks a Napolitan dialect.
Mm.
The Italian that they know is basically the broken Italian that my great-grandfather, who had a third grade education, brought to America.
Hmm.
So the Italian that they speak is barely decipherable for an Italian speaker. The same way that Quebecers, compared to French, from France, they're like, c'est quoi cet accent?
Hmm.
The same way that, and then you take it to an extreme, like the gabagool,
Yeah.
Schvoliadel.
Schvoliadel.
Give me one of them Schvoliadels, will you? All of that stuff, I don't know. Brojutini.
I would, yeah. Well, it's interesting too. Like you were saying, like out east, and that's like, well, how many kilometers away, and how many, like even in Gaspésie, when I thought, like I would go and I hear some of the accent, I'm like, man, is it like influenced by like a little bit of Scottish or Irish?
It 100%
Like
is.
I'm hearing the French, so I'm like, oh, wow. I'm like, and it's interesting. It's just because it's 12 hours away, but there's a big difference in
There's
MJ's
this,
good at it. MJ's really
Oh,
good
yeah?
at the, like, yeah.
I something made me laugh. Someone said, like, I think she's from the West Island. She was like, so this West Islander hears someone who's got this Acadian French. Have
Yeah.
you ever heard Acadian French?
Yeah. We could give me your best.
I don't even know how to do it. For me, it's like, it's franglais, but it's flipped.
Yeah. Everybody says I speak like a Canadian. I think it's
No,
funny. but-
Acadian,
Acadian.
not Canadian.
Oh, did I say Canadian?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
That's okay.
Acadian. Yeah.
Well, Acadian French is just the same French as someone from the West Island. It sounds the same.
Yeah. I'll try to.
I couldn't imitate it.
They roll their R's way more.
Yeah. Can you roll your R's?
Arrêtez, je m'appelle Kyle. Je m'appelle Kyle. J'ai besoin du gasoline. No, I can't.
No, I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
No.
No, that was pretty bad.
That was
That was
terrible.
really
I'm actually embarrassed. Let me cut this out.
So what about the comments? Like, this is a mailbag episode.
Yeah.
Episode. What does that mean?
I honestly don't know what that means. Well, I think it's reflecting on like a lot of the comments or I guess sentiments of people. Like, you've seen a lot of the comments go by. You've seen a lot of people, a lot of people in our DMs. What do you think is like the generalization of the comments?
I don't know about the generalization of the comments, but one thing I know is that it makes me really happy that people express themselves in our DMs.
Hmm.
I think the fact that we're talking about all of these things and people feel compelled to write to us, for me, means that we're on the right track. Parce que ça veut dire que c'est une discussion que les gens veulent avoir, tant en français qu'en anglais. Puis ça me fait vraiment plaisir d'entendre les gens dire merci d'avoir une plateforme où on peut se reconnaître.
Hmm.
Parce que, ultimement, au Québec, on est beaucoup de différents types de personnes, beaucoup de différents types de cultures, surtout dans une métropole euh, comme Montréal. Alors, de démontrer qu'il y a plusieurs différentes facettes à une ville et donc à une province, je trouve que c'est une belle cause. To have people feel like they belong, I think that's part of my quest.
Well, that's where the fusion hits, right? And it's very niche. It's a very niche thing where, there's people in LA that this she reached out to me, or she reached out to us on our socials. I was like, yo, like I live in LA, and I relate so much with this because I'm in the States. I grew up in Canada. I grew up in Quebec, and there's not really a lot of realities of the same, type of. I can't really relate with a lot of people in LA and on that basis of identity, right? And
It's
so,
ingrained
yeah,
here, that
yeah,
identity.
it is ingrained. But that feeling in a sense of identity, there's not a lot of sense of like proudness in it. Where I'm realizing, okay, there's a lot of sense of proudness that I'm an Anglo in Quebec, and that I love, Quebec, and I love the culture, and I love the French, and I love the culture because of the French,
Mm-hmm.
right?
You love the culture because of the French.
But
get
that's
it.
why
I get it.
Quebec feels like this because of the French and because of the English.
Yeah. The fusion of it is what makes
Yeah.
this place.
And when you
So
come to
special.
Montreal, like everybody that comes to Montreal, every artist or everybody, like they realize, wow, Montreal is an amazing place. And it's not just because of the French, and it's not just because of the English. It's because of the both of them.
The both of
The both of them.
Jeez.
It's about the both of them.
Bro.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro.
It's about the English and the French and
Well,
you know?
this whole idea of culture being in transition is something that has been occupying my mind. It's transitioning from I think life is about transitioning. You're always going to the next chapter, and it's important, I think.
It's tough though. Those
sure.
transition parts, and I'll
Mhm.
just relate it like personally. I played football my whole life. When I finished football, that was probably the most depressing time of my life, because I was like, I'm a football player with who I am now.
Well, you base your identity on something that is
This thing that I've been programmed as a kid, I'm this thing, and so you're in a vulnerable state, right? I was in a relationship at that time too, and I remember it was shitty because I was pretty insecure.
That's interesting, man, because, for example, for me and with drumming or music, I realized not that long ago that if I put all my identity into being a drummer, being a musician, and that goes away, like during the pandemic when music just kind of stopped and we didn't really know what was going on, I was like, uh-oh, who am I without this? And it made me realize that sometimes we don't even realize what we latch on to define ourselves. And it just forced me to kind of realize, who am I when I'm not playing music? And I think that, because, for example, people that
Well, and
define
recently, sorry, I bring up you've been in a band for 7 years.
not sorry to bring it up.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So we recently decided to go on hiatus, and I think that that's a good thing because, things get stale sometimes. If you don't seek out change or evolution. And I think to question yourself on what is it that you want to do is a healthy thing. And sometimes you have to be willing to lose something to see what it really means to you, and if you want to get back to it or not. The relationship between Sash and I is still intact, and the desire is to foster and nurture the relationship outside of music. But now that I'm a free agent in the music world, I don't feel like a drummer without a band. I feel like a whole person. So it's not tied with my self-worth.
Hmm.
It's not tied with how I view myself. It's just one facet of my identity.
But you've gone through the stages of that, right? So coming back first, like bringing back to the conversation of transition, it's when you are transitioning, it's that learning period of like, okay, am I French or am I English? Are we French or are we English? Or am I a drummer? I'm not a drummer. Am I an athlete? Not an athlete.
I'm all of the above and none of the above. It's like you don't put on the hat and keep on the hat forever. It's like you put on the hat and sometimes you take it off. And you got to have multiple hats.
Right. But that's the leadership right now, their mentality is like, I'm one thing or I'm nothing. And so when you have that type of mentality, you are trying to force something to something that
the
doesn't want
most
to be
common
forced.
denominator. It's just easier. And then mix that with the whole fear thing that we were talking about before, and it's just easier to have control over people. I think what's important with our conversation and this podcast is to show that, no, you can be two things at the same time, and one doesn't contradict the other. The fact that we're speaking in English right now does not mean that we're contributing to the decline of French. It is short-sighted, if not.
Dans les commentaires, j'ai vu comme beaucoup de personnes, je pense comme quand tu parles, comme je parle un peu, mais je pense plus quand tu parles, il dit comme, oh, Anglo victim. No. Is there a victim? Who's the victim? Alors, comme, est-ce que, comment?
I think it's a weak-ass argument.
Mais pourquoi il dit, t'es comme, you're the victim? Pourquoi une personne veut dire ça? Est-ce que c'est comme vraiment facile de dire? Est-ce que c'est...
Je pense que la perspective, la dualité qu'on a dans chaque facette de notre identité est importante. Par exemple, un Québécois ne peut pas dire... C'est qui? Est-ce que c'est PSPP récemment qui a parlé du colonisateur versus colonisé? De dire que le Québécois est colonisé et faire abstraction du passé colonisateur du Québec, je trouve que ça n'a pas vraiment sa place ou ça n'a pas de sens. On peut pas faire abstraction du passé colonisateur. On peut dire que oui, on s'est fait coloniser, les Québécois, par les Anglais, mais ça ne veut pas dire que les Québécois n'ont pas essayé de faire ça aussi et n'essayent pas en ce moment de faire ça. Je trouve que c'est un drôle de double standard. Mais c'est le fun de débattre de ça. Surtout maintenant avec les élections qui s'en viennent, puis tout ça, de voir les gens utiliser cette carte de le gros méchant canadien, gouvernement canadien qui veut coloniser le Québécois, qui ne nous laisse pas vivre. I don't agree with that, man. I just don't agree with it. I don't feel that way.
Mais est-ce que tu penses comme protéger une culture, c'est la même chose de contrôler une culture?
Est-ce que contrôler la culture, c'est la protéger? Moi, je pense que contrôler la culture, ultimement, ça finit par l'étouffer.
C'est quoi l'étouffer?
Stifle it.
Ouais, yeah, choke it.
Do you know, est-ce que tu sais c'est quoi le bye-bye?
Non.
Je trouve ça fascinant.
C'est quoi bye-bye?
Le bye-bye. L'émission ou le bye-bye. Est-ce que tu sais c'est quoi Infoman?
Non.
Est-ce que tu sais c'est quoi La Petite Vie?
Ouais,
Maintenant, oui. Mais c'est moi qui t'avais appris ça.
Ouais, exact.
Je trouve ça fou, tu sais, parce que c'est des choses... These are like Quebec staples that I'm sure that when people hear that you don't know le bye-bye, ils sont comme...
Ouais.
I love it, man.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to how many other things that are Quebec cultural staples that you're not aware and that I'm not aware.
But that is that part of it too? Like, let's say if I don't know those things, it's like an identifier, like, hey, t'es pas québécois.
Je pense que oui. Je pense que oui pour certaines personnes, pas nécessairement pour moi. Hein. Meaning, c'est pas vrai que pour moi, parce que toi, tu sais pas c'est quoi le bye-bye, que moi, je pense que t'es pas québécois. Like, my father doesn't know what that is either.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But, like, I think some people would probably find it ridiculous that you've never even heard of it. Est-ce que tu sais c'est qui le bonhomme carnaval?
Non. Oh, mais le bonhomme de neige, gars, le gros gars?
Ouais.
Oh,
Nice.
Ouais. Mais t'es vu avec Mark Carney.
Est-ce que c'est la première fois que t'as...
Non, mais j'ai vu cette image mais c'était quoi? C'était comme un personne de... un figure de...
C'est une figure de style.
style.
No. I don't know. I don't know exactly. I know he's from Quebec.
It's creepy. I feel like you could make a horror movie out of that dude. Wait, but it's to promote a festival?
I guess we're gonna have to figure
You
that
don't
one
even
out.
know that. You
No,
piece of
dude, I don't
shit.
know. Again, like all these things, it's more like it's like association. I've learned that there's certain things that you just like nod and say, "Oh yeah, of course, c'est sûr
Ye-
que je sais c'est qui."
Yeah.
But you don't know.
Yeah. Your perspective, going in from last season to this season, like your perspective in general, has it shifted at all? Like based on who we spoke with, based on our guests from last season, and what kind of like stood out, from last season, or
I don't think I'm looking to shift my perspective. I'm looking
I'm not looking to grow at all. You know what? I'm actually
doing all right.
You know what? I'm actually smart enough.
No,
I don't need to.
no, not in that sense. I'm looking to learn more about different perspectives.
Yeah.
But I don't think I have one perspective that's set in stone. I think I'm still searching. Is that a problem? I don't know yet. Should I know more about where I stand in the world? Perhaps. But it was so obvious when I was in Boston. Like, I feel at home in Boston with my family. But I'm a Montrealer. I feel at home when I'm in Montreal, but I still feel like an outsider. When we go play in Toronto, I'm a Montrealer. So everywhere I go, I think there's a part of me that feels like I'm an outsider, but there's a part of me that carries this Montreal flame. And I think that it's something special. And I'm sure everyone from every city thinks their city is special, but I think the fact that we're such a what's the word? Like une plaque tournante. And the fact that there's so much culture and so much language, I'm proud to be from Montreal. And I want to say something else. My Egyptian grandfather, Galal. So mon
Parle français?
il parlait français. Il parlait plusieurs langues. C'était un polyglotte. Il parlait français, anglais. Ben, à la base, il parlait arabe, il parlait hébreu, il parlait français, anglais. Je sais pas quoi d'autre.
Est-ce que tu penses qu'une personne ou une famille ou c'est comme dans son DNA, c'est facile de prendre un langue ou des langues ou...
Oui, je pense qu'il y a des intérêts qui sont innés. Je veux dire, dans ma famille, du côté de ma mère, les gens sont très intéressés par les langues, mais c'est un mélange aussi. Mais mon grand-père me disait quelque chose d'intéressant. Il me disait que quand lui était plus jeune en Égypte, au Caire, Cairo, which is the capital of Egypt, il célébrait toutes les fêtes, juives, musulmanes, chrétiennes. Les gens vivaient en harmonie, beaucoup plus qu'aujourd'hui. Et puis, du jour au lendemain, dans les années 60, il y a eu la nationalisation. Il y a un nouveau gouvernement qui est venu puis qui a dit, ben, si tu parles pas l'arabe, ça va être plus difficile pour toi d'avancer dans le monde. Puis mes grands-parents, ils ont vu ça comme étant, ben, si nous, on quitte pas l'Égypte, ben, c'est nos enfants qui vont quitter. Alors, ils ont décidé d'émigrer au Canada, au Québec, à cause du français. Parce qu'ils parlaient en français au Québec. La majorité de ma famille égyptienne sont en Californie. Eux, ils sont allés, ils ont débarqué au Québec. Ils se sont dit, il fait bien trop froid ici. Pour de vrai.
Ouais.
Débarquer au mois de novembre avec des shorts en laine, puis en se disant, ouais, ça va nous protéger du froid. Genre, that's a hard dose of reality. So, ma famille est ici grâce au français. Mais mon point, c'est plutôt qu'en Égypte, tout le monde vivait en harmonie, puis du jour au lendemain, le gouvernement décide que ben, ces gens-ci, ben, ils ont moins leur place. Puis je regarde ce qui se passe aux États-Unis, puis tu te dis, ben, ça peut arriver ici au Québec aussi si on ne fait pas attention. Si on ne fait pas attention à se questionner sur pourquoi on agit d'une certaine manière. Comment est-ce qu'on peut trouver les points communs avec les gens au lieu de regarder puis de focusser sur ce qui nous différencie. I think it's just better to look around and be like, what unites us as opposed to what divides us. We're lucky to be in this part of the world, dude. Like when you look at
Especially right now.
dude, when you look at right now, and when I think that I'm one generation away from being in a place that's not doing so hot,
Hmm.
when you look at, the cultures that are on the FBI's wanted list, and you see like people that are from Egypt, and you're like, it's a good thing my grandparents got here when they got here, because luck of the draw.
Timing.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess immigration is just timing.
Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Donald Trump's parents are from Germany.
Yeah.
So like he's as American as it's ridiculous to look at that and think like that's what makes you where you're from. We're all from elsewhere, dude. I've said it 1,000 times.
Yeah. But propelling the culture is embracing it then.
Propelling the culture is embracing it. Well, it's embracing that facet. Like the goal here is not to hush anybody. It's not to say like, nah, you're not part of it. No, you're not part of it. To be part of it, this is what you have to do. This is how you should be.
Is it almost though like a curator? Like you have a art gallery, okay? And people curate art and you bring it in. Does the government have to be more of a curator to
I think the government is not artistic enough to curate shit.
Yeah, no, I think that I agree. I think they should shut up and just service its clients. I think government.
Serve them. So to service them would be kind of awkward.
Sorry, serve them. Yeah. Serve them. Yeah. Like, wow. How do you see it in your head as service?
I won't get into it.
But yeah, I feel there's kind of getting too big headed, right? Like we pay them.
100%.
We pay them.
They're here to represent us, and we are a part of it.
Yeah, and so they have to be good at, I think, facilitating it.
Do you see yourself as a threat to Quebec culture? Or what do you see yourself?
To certain people, I did for a long time. I did.
You felt that way?
Yeah, I felt that way. And that's why I left. Like,
That's why you left Quebec?
One of the reasons was, I felt you're not as confident, right? You go to a place where 100% of the interactions you could be confident, right?
Are you insecure by nature?
I'm more aware of it, but as you get older, I think it took me a longer time to understand who I was, or who I am, and I think it's always progressing. It's always, like you said, you're always, so I think I'm self-aware and I'm less insecure than I was when I was younger,
That was beautifully said, man.
Because that's what I like about getting older, is that you're more around, you're when I was younger, I socialized a lot. I socialize less now. I think that's just age with time,
kids, work.
So you kind of move more inwards and you understand more what things that you like and what you don't like. And you become just more, and as you get older, you could go both ways. You could get, more insecure, more confident. And yeah, I think that's,
It's funny about the insecurity versus confidence thing. Like sometimes I feel that way, even with the podcast, or I felt that way with music. It's like, what makes my point of view so important to say? I don't think my point of view is more important than anybody else's, but I find it important to share my point of view because it helps me feel connected to others. And I find it also helps others. I've gotten it multiple times. It helps others be like, hey, you put words to something that I was feeling. And getting those thank yous is amazing. I find a lot of, it fills my cup.
Well, I think my whole life, I was in video production and video. I started, probably late in my life though, like in 2027. But I always had a camera. My mom bought me a camera, and I was always interested in perspective. So I think a lot of the time, a lot of my projects, like or documentaries or things, was always about understanding a sense of perspective, so I could live my life a certain way, to I guess be happier, right? Drawn to musicians because I wanted to see what that perspective of life was. You know, uh, business entrepreneurs. I was interested in like kind of wanted to see like if what their perspective is it suitable for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you get to taste a lot of things, and as a photographer or video, you kind of put yourself in those situations to see deeply into people's lives. I'm curious in people's perspectives of what they think about Quebec, of how they identify Quebec. And last season, I've really got a good sense of how people feel about Quebec, and I think this is just a discovery. It's never going to have answers.
So someone recently at work told me that a friend of theirs has a book about their grandfather's life. And
That's
she was
awesome.
saying, yeah, that she felt like she wished she had that with her grandfather.
Hmm.
Because I think it's cool to know where we come from. And part of this podcast, the same as when I make music, I find the legacy of it is being able to have something that when I'm not here anymore, that my kids can go to or other people can go to and be like, this is shining a light on the existential facet of identity. And I think that sharing that, because you have a talent for it, and I think I have a talent for it, the storytelling on your end, the asking questions on my end, and vice versa, I think that synergy is important because it nourishes me, but I think in the long run, it's going to give a nice kind of like point in time for our kids.
Let's take a I was talking to someone, and they're a photographer, and the whole point of a photographer is to just capture that slice of time in that, wherever it is, if it's in where I live, like Lachine, and I found that really interesting of like, okay, this podcast could be just a slice of that transition period of, in Quebec culture that my kids might look back at and like, oh man, Quebec was like that back then.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I find that it's like a time capsule.
Because it's certainly changed in the time that I've been alive.
Well, and we saw how much it's changed in so many years. Imagine what it's going to change to in, 20 to 30 years, what it's going to be like. And I have an idea that it won't, people that are trying to stop change, human rights, back in the day in terms of like, when whites stopped blacks or tried to stop blacks from going to their schools, it's inevitable. It's like human rights or anything. It's gonna move forward, and it's really hard to stop that culture from like evolving into something that they don't want, rather than it just happening, embracing it. Like for the same, with trends and all that. Like it's the same like kind of human rights now, like where people like, oh, trans rights, like, I don't want the same bathrooms and stuff like that. It's like it's the same thing.
So, dude, my American family is split between Republicans and Democrats. And my family, believe it or not, is very loud and opinionated.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
And
I wouldn't have known.
In this last trip in Boston, what I thought was really, really cool is with my cousins and my uncles, we were able to talk, albeit very loud, about our differences of opinion. And ultimately, no one walked out. And I thought that was great. Because it's important now more than ever to be able to listen to one another. And it's important to learn to vocalize how we feel and to feel safe enough to say how we feel in order to be able to connect, in order to be able to test out how we feel.
A sounding board.
A sounding board.
People really run away or they get very emotional when their viewpoints are not agreed on and
are challenged.
Yeah, or challenged. And I have a Republican friend, and we talk a lot on Instagram, and I think it's super important that whatever your viewpoints are, is that I'm not like, I guess it's hard not to judge you as the person, but I truly don't. Like, I see it as sports. It's like, there's your opinion, here's mine. I still love you. Like you're
Sometimes I
still
have
friend.
difficulty wrapping my head around how people can't see that their beliefs um can have a negative impact on other people other than them. I find that the individualistic side of people is really at the forefront right now. And when you look at world leaders, you look at Donald Trump and you look at how he goes about life, and I just think, like, how can you be so unaware that what you say and what you do has an impact, a negative
But
impact on so many
mais
people?
est-ce que c'est la même chose que Donald Trump et comme la culture de Québec, c'est comme we're fearful of losing our white American way of life. And here, c'est la même chose. On a perdu on est peur de comme perdu notre
On a peur de perdre notre identité.
identité de Québécois français. C'est la même chose un
Je
peu.
comprends, mais ça revient à
C'est
toute cette histoire de
ouais.
peur. Agir dans la peur, ben, je préfère agir dans mmh,
Because
pour moi, c'est agir dans la peur versus agir dans l'amour. Je sais que ça a l'air,
mm,
wishy-washy. It's just like making decisions based out of fear, for me, it's just not healthy.
it's easy though.
It is easy, but, if you wanna grow, it's gonna be uncomfortable.
Mm.
Always going to what's easiest, I think, stifles growth. And I recently, I'm noticing, even in books that I've read, like my auntie Linda, she told me to read, the book Let Them. I don't know if you've heard about
Yeah,
that book.
yeah, yeah. MJ
So I read the book, and my initial reaction was like, I don't like this. I don't like to be told what to do. I didn't like the tone of the book. I'm not saying all of it. Some of it kind of stuck out and rubbed me the wrong way.
if I say something, do you get like like you're not, you kind of stop listening because it's like someone's telling you how to feel or how to do, and you're like, oh, I'm like, it's a defense mechanism. Like what?
That's a good question. I think part of it is a defense mechanism. I think
Mm.
part of it is how I'm wired. But what I was gonna say is, like, when I get a reaction now, like a visceral reaction to "I don't like this," I take the time to ask myself, "Why? What is it
Like
triggering for
slow
me?"
down the ladder of reaction
Well, because
or
if I
ladder of
just
judgment.
Sorry?
Ladder of judgment. Like it's how fast we quick to judge, right?
Like, by asking myself why this is hitting me the wrong way, I'm taking the time to kind of deconstruct myself and seeing, like, what's the issue here?
Mm.
Why do I not like to be told what to do? Why do I not like the tone of this person? And I think that by sitting down with that, I get to know myself more, and I get to kind of, yeah, deconstruct it in order to work on it
Well, understand yourself more. Yeah.
and work on it.
It's harder to do that, right?
Of
It's
course,
harder
I
rather.
say it like it's
Mm.
easy to
Yeah.
do. Like, I'm not saying it's easy,
Mm.
but I'm just saying I think it's an important facet of life to kind of question yourself. But I'm realizing it
A lot of
again.
people don't. The thing is, a lot of people don't like to question themselves because it shows a lack of confidence.
I disagree.
But but on the surface level,
Mhm.
right? On the surface level, it doesn't show a bravado, or it doesn't show the image that I'm confident
But I think
because
by
I'm
being able to
questioning
say,
myself.
"Hey, I don't have the answer to this right now. I'm gonna look into it, and I'm gonna get back to you."
I agree.
But it takes time, it takes energy, it takes effort. But if we don't have time, energy, and effort, then what are we fucking doing?
Ouais, ouais.
Pardon my French. Are we allowed to swear?
Ah, je sais pas.
Je sais pas.
OK, mais on a, a little bit left, mais season 2. What are you excited about? Y'all, what do you want to talk about? Yeah.
What do I wanna talk about? I wanna talk about the future. I wanna talk about how I feel. I want to show people that there is strength in questioning yourself. I want to show that there's strength in changing opinions, in being open to other people's opinions. What about you?
No, I really think, I said it kind of before, is that how is Quebec in relationship to Canada, and also how do we promote the Quebec culture outside of Quebec?
Do you feel more Quebecer or more Canadian?
I mean, I feel more Canadian. If I'm being honest,
Is that a problem?
people will be like, "I knew it," But right now, that's how I feel. It could change, But
Does
like,
that
I
make
feel
you okay?
Montreal.
Okay. Does feeling more Canadian make you any less of a Quebecer?
Oh, in general terms, yes. If I were to speak to another Quebecer, yes.
But
Like,
you're speaking to another Quebecer now.
yeah,
I say yes.
yeah,
No,
yeah. No,
no,
but I know, but I.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. That's a hard question.
Like, why in the United States, like, people want to out-American each other? The states want to out-American.
Yeah, I'm
each
more
other.
American than you.
Texas is more American than Kentucky is more American than
Now
Massachusetts.
that is American.
But in Canada, it's like we don't have that. And I'm not saying that patriotism a la United States is the way to go. But
Well, the both spectrums, I find it's not not good. Like, everybody's trying to leave Canada.
well, that's an interesting one too. With Alberta wanting to secede, I'm really curious. I hope we do get to talk to an Albertan. Did I say Calgary that wants to secede? I meant Alberta.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to speak to someone who's from Alberta. I want to know what their arguments are about separation, and I wonder if they're the same as the Quebec arguments. Minus the language.
Yeah. Where I think where it differs is at Quebec, they want to be able to control the culture more. They
Is it
want
just about culture, or is it about resources?
in Quebec more.
Well, there's resources in Quebec,
But
all
where
the water.
Alberta, Alberta, I feel they're tired of people freeloading off of them, and so they want to like control how their resources. It's less about the culture.
And there's the sovereignty movement that they're very happy to give us all these reports that economically would be able to survive in Quebec, and I'm sure they have the same thing in Alberta. I'm curious.
I can't speak on that. I don't know if we would like survive economically.
I have no idea, nor is that the point. I'm sure people are gonna be like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Here are these reports.
Yeah, hear these reports,
But at the same
that are
time,
funded by the people that are trying to do it.
no, I think being united is better than being divided.
So by the end of this, end of this season, what are you hoping to accomplish?
That's a good question. I think I'm.
Or what perspective? If it is about perspective, what perspective are you wanting to? What lens are you wanting to? Get bigger, grow. What perspective are you wanting to grow? Or
I disagree.
You stumped me, kid.
Yeah. No, I don't feel stumped. I just don't think I think it's just the beginning of a conversation that I'm trying to normalize.
Yeah.
And
So you're saying maybe season 3?
no, but in French they call it les deux solitudes.
Ouais.
Et j'aime l'idée de pouvoir faire le pont entre les deux. Je suis pas le premier à vouloir le faire, mais je pense que c'est possible. Je pense que c'est important. Je pense que on a plus à gagner en étant unis qu'en renfonçant les différences, puis en like to rehash the same old things. I'm bored of it. I'm bored of it. And I wonder, there's a huge sovereignty movement in young people. And I wonder, does this translate into real life votes, or is this just an artistic
endeavor?
Yeah, bubble.
No, but it's coming though. Like the wave of like pride for Quebec, it is coming in the culture.
But pride for Quebec and separatism is not the same thing for me. And that's another thing. Like can one be a proud Montrealer and therefore also a proud Quebecer and also a proud Canadian? I don't like this idea that it's one or the other. Again, I don't like the fact that I have to pick between one or the other. I have 2 passports. Am I more one or the other? I don't know. I'm the mix of both. I'm a mixed culture kid. Am I more like my mom or more like my dad? It doesn't really fucking matter. It's what parts do I want to build on? And I think that's way more cool than being like
I'm not my dad.
Yeah.
I'm not my mom. Or don't be like your dad.
I'm both, man. I'm both, for better and for worse. I try to look at what are the good sides of my dad that I have and what are the bad sides. And same with my mom. I think that also grief is something that has helped me be more open to transition. Because I think with my mom dying, it sounds so final. But it was the beginning of something else for me. It was the beginning of trying to accept certain things and nurturing others. It's always the end of something and the beginning of something else. And I think right now is the same thing. It's the end of the monolithic, one-sided block of identity. And it's the beginning of, hey, we all have more facets than we lead.
And I'm really excited for this next chapter for Quebec. Like, I'm really excited. Like, the government or whoever comes, I'm really excited. Regardless of.
Are you excited?
I am excited. I'm excited for the next chapter. Like, let's move on. Like, it's been bad press, or bad media, bad, just like negative stuff. And I'm excited for it to move on. I'm like, okay, what, I want a refreshing feel. Like, I want to feel like Zoran's campaigns.
Are you part of the change?
I don't know. But I'm part of discovering it.
Are you part of the change or are you part of holding Quebec back?
Oh, the change for sure. Like holding it back?
Yeah. Do you think that, like, I guess back to the whole relativity
Yeah.
perspective?
No, I think we're just questioning the change, and I'm really excited for it. I'm really excited for, how my my kids are gonna grow up in Quebec and how they're gonna feel, and the conversations that I'm gonna have with them when they're 18 and they're adults and how they feel. Like, I'm super curious in that. So I don't know where it's going.
As artists, I think we have a duty to shine a light on how we feel and bring how we feel out into the world. And I do think it's an exciting time to be able to share how we feel. I think it's more important than ever.
Cool. So
Oh, cool. Yeah, whatever.
well, like, let's get into this next season, and I'm stoked to, like, our guests will we're coming out with a couple of no, I won't say that because
Don't say it. I think I know what you're talking about. Don't say it.
the promos.
Oh, you just said it.
I'll delete it. Yeah. But no, I
This
mean,
is edited?
yeah. It's But I'm excited for this season. I'm excited for our guests. I'm excited to see what I'm gonna learn. And I'm just stoked in general.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready for season 2?
Dude, I was born ready.
All right.
Yeah, I was born ready.
Let's go.
Esti,